Dear students, today we are going to start one of the most important, interesting geometric chapter called triangles. Let us have a glance at what we are going to learn in today's class. We are going to learn definition of triangle, various properties of triangle, types of triangles, secondary parts of the triangle like median, what is altitude, angle bisector, perpendicular bisector, and very important, similarity of triangles and its criterion, congruency and its criterion. If you want to be clear at all these concepts, please listen the class till the end. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and keep spreading the knowledge. Children, I am sorry that I have delayed much in uploading this video, and thanks to all those who called me and tried to know the reason. Whatever may be the reason, I promise you that I will try to upload the videos regularly. Let us understand the definition of triangle. A simple closed figure with 3 sides, 3 angles and 3 vertices is called triangle. Let us take 2 figures with 3 sides. Here I am taking it as A, B, C. One figure, and the another figure also with 3 sides, P, Q, R, S. So children, in both the figures we have 3 sides. AB, BC is the second side, AC is the third side. Here also PQ is first side, QR is second side, RS is third side. But there is a lot of difference in both the figures. Left figure is called closed figure and this right figure is called opened figure. I hope you have understood the difference between these two. Opened because there is a way to get inside the triangle and come out. But here in closed figure there is no way at all. Therefore, left side figure is called closed figure. And still if you observe, in the left side figure we have 3 angles, angle A, angle B, angle C, and 3 vertices. Vertices mean these end points are called vertices. But the right side figure which is open, there if you observe we have only 2 angles, Q and R. Triangle has 2 words called triangle. Tri means 3, angles mean the figure which has 3 angles. By now you might have understood which one can be the triangle here in these 2 figures. Right side figure, as it is open and has only 2 angles, it cannot be a triangle. So this closed figure is a triangle now. A triangle is a simple closed figure where there should be 3 sides, 3 angles, 3 vertices. In this example, children, AB, BC, AC are called sides. These are AB, BC and AC. And then these are angles A, B, C. Angle A, angle B, angle C. It has 3 angles. And there are 3 endpoints, and these endpoints are called vertices. So what are the vertices here? A, B, C are called vertices. Vertices is the plural of vertex. If there is only one endpoint, we call it as vertex. So children, now let us go for the next topic, properties of triangles. The first and foremost property that we need to learn is angle sum property. It says the sum of the angles in a triangle is always equal to 180 degrees. Let us practically see how the sum of the angles will be 180 degrees. I am taking a triangle here Let us name this triangle as P, Q, R. As here there are three angles, I will take three different colors to represent these angles. I have taken PQ, then I am taking Q with green, and I'll take some other color for R. So children, here there are three angles. So I will separate these angles and I'll try to add these. I have taken this R and I'm keeping it aside. Same way, let me take Q and bring it and add to the previous angle R. And then third angle P I am taking, but it can't directly suit, so that I am reverting this angle and joining with this. So children, now when we observe that all the triangles are brought together, this is Q, this is P, and this is R, all together angles made a straight line. This is straight line. So straight line has 180 degrees. Therefore, this angle, all three together, is going to be 180 degrees. This is how we can understand that the sum of the three interior angles is always is equal to 180. Symbolically, we can write it as angle P, angle Q, angle R. Angle P, angle Q, angle R together is equal to how much? 180 degrees. Let us go for the next property. Inequality property. The sum of any two sides in a triangle is always greater than the third side. The difference of any two sides is always less than the third side. Let us check it. I am taking a triangle here with 2 units, 3 units, and 4 units. Let us name this triangle as A, B, C. So children, in any triangle, if you see the sum of two sides, so let us take these two sides, 3 and 2. The sum of these two sides means 3 plus 2 must always be greater than the third side. What is the third side remained here? 4. So it must be greater than 4. Is it true? 3 plus 2 is greater than 4. Yes, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 is greater than 4. So it is satisfied. Not only that, we will check even other sides. Like I will take now these two sides, 2 and 4. When I add this 4 and 2, it must be greater than the third side, that is nothing but this 3. So let's check. 4 plus 2 must be greater than 3. 4 plus 2 is 6 and is greater than 3. Same way, let us check the next two sides. These two. 4 plus 3, this 4 plus 3 must be less than the must be greater than the third side. So let me check it. 4 plus 3 is greater than third side is 2. 4 plus 3 is 7 and it is greater than 2. So this way, you add any two sides, that sum will be greater than the third side. Children, in the same way, difference also, any two sides, difference of any two sides must be less than the third side. Same we will check. Here sum 3 plus 2 was greater than 4. If I take the difference, 3 minus 2 must be less than 4. Is it correct? 3 minus 2 is 1 and is always less than 4. What about the next? These sides? Yes, let's check now. 4 minus 2, the difference of these two sides must be less than 3. Yes, 4 minus 2 is 2 and 2 is less than 3. When we go for the third Same way, 4 plus 3 was greater than 2. And now we'll check the difference. 4 minus 3 must be less than 2. That is 4 minus 3 is 1 is less than 2. So children, the sum of any two sides must be greater than the third side and difference of any two sides must be less than the third side. What will happen when the sum of two sides is equal to the third side? Let me take three sides here, three lines. Let me take three lines with 1 unit, 2 units, and then another side with 3 units. So children, here I have taken 3 sides with 1 unit, 2 units and 3 units. Let me try to make a triangle with these 3 sides. So I am taking this side with the length 3 and I am making it as a base. Then I will try to bring this side, which is of 2 units, and try to put it here. And then I'll take the third side and I'm bringing it here. So children, here, when 3 sides are brought together, they are forming a line but not a triangle. So when the sum of two sides is equal to third side, mean 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Sum of two sides is equal to third side. Then in this case, there cannot be a triangle formed. Then there is something more to learn here. This is one endpoint, second endpoint, third endpoint. So when the sum of two sides is equal to third side, all the 3 endpoints are on the same line. So when the lines are on the same, when the points are on the same line, they are called collinear lines. They are called collinear. Collinear mean the points which are on the same line. So here one more property we learned, that if the sum of two sides is equal to the third side, then all those 3 points are collinear. Children, now let's get into the next property, exterior angle property. So here we will take a triangle. Let me name this triangle as X, Y, Z. Exterior angle is equal to the sum of two opposite interior angles. So children, here first let us know what are interior angles. This, and this. These 3 are called interior angles. So let me shade them for your better understanding. This is X, Y and Z. Even we can name them as 1, 2, 3. We call them interior angles because they are inside. Then what is exterior angle? Suppose this YZ side is there. I am extending it. I am extending it to point called P. Then children, there is one angle which is formed outside the triangle. This angle. This is called exterior angle because it is outside the triangle. So let me number it as 4. So children, there are 3 interior angles, 1 exterior angle. So this property is saying you that exterior angle is equal to, mean angle 4 is equal to the sum of 2 interior angles, but there are 3. 2 interior angles and they are opposite. So to this exterior angle, if we consider, what are the 2 opposite interior angles? 1 and 2. That means this exterior angle is equal to the sum of two interior, mean this and this angle. So let's symbolically represent it. So angle 4 is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. We can have a proof for this also. I'll just explain you without taking much time, because what is 3 plus 4? 180. Angle 3 plus 4 is 180. Why is it 180? Because it is straight line. And then what is angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3? This is also 180. Because the sum of interior angles of a triangle. So children, now both are equal. In both the cases, you can compare first equation is equal to second equation. Then you can write angle 3 plus angle 4 is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3. You can cancel this angle 3 on the both sides. Then you will get angle 4 is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. This is how you can have a proof for this property, where we can say that exterior angle is equal to the sum of two interior opposite angles. Next property. Side opposite to the largest angle is always longest. Angle opposite to the longest side is always largest. So let us take an example and try to understand this property. Let me take a triangle with three sides whose length is 2, 3 and 5. Children, here let me name this triangle as PQR. PQR are the angles. So here, what is the longest side of the triangle? QR. Next longer is PR. Let me take some other color. PR. And what is the next smallest? Smallest is PQ. So let us know the order first here. QR, PR and PQ. So you can write it as QR is greater in length than PR. PR is greater in length than PQ. So as QR is the longest side, the opposite angle to QR, what is the opposite angle to QR? Is nothing but this P. So opposite angle to the longest side is always larger. That means angle P is going to be the larger angle. And then what is PR here? PR is the middle length side. So now angle opposite to this PR is going to be middle in size. That is angle Q. And then PQ is the smallest side. PQ is the smallest side. So what is the opposite angle to this PQ? Is R. So this R is going to be smallest. So children, here R is going to be smallest. So as these three sides are in decreasing order, these angles are also in decreasing order now. So by this we understand that if the side is longest, the opposite angle to that side will be largest. If the side is small, the opposite angle to that side will be smaller. Mean angle depends on the opposite side, and the length of the side will depend on the opposite angle. So as the angle is increasing, the side length will increase. If angle is decreasing, opposite side length will decrease. So children, here, suppose in case if I take a triangle whose three sides are equal, then what about it? When three sides are equal, then definitely there must be three angles equal, because two sides are equal. Then the opposite angles must also be equal, because I said the side is longer, then the angle will be larger, and the side is smaller, angle will be smaller. If sides are equal, then the angles must be equal. Same way, if we take a triangle whose two sides are equal, only two sides, then what will happen? Their opposite angles must be equal. That means two angles are equal. Anyhow, by this property, we learned that the length of the side depends on the angle opposite to it. The magnitude of the angle depends on the side opposite to it. Children, now let us understand the types of triangles. With respect to sides, there are three types of triangles. With respect to the angles, there are three types. Totally 6 types of triangles there. So, with respect to sides, there are 3 triangles. Where the first one, where all the 3 sides are equal. Let me take this as A, B, C. Another triangle where there are 2 sides are equal. Here I will take P, Q, R. Third type of triangle where 3 sides are different. 1, 2, 3. So 3 sides are equal, 2 sides are equal, no sides are equal. If there are 3 sides equal in the triangle, it is called equilateral triangle. And if there are 2 sides equal, then it is called isosceles triangle. If there are no sides equal, then we name it as scalene triangle. So children, symbolically we represent here in equilateral triangle that AB is equal to BC is equal to AC. All the 3 sides equal. So from the relation between angles and sides property, we can say that angles will also be equal. That means angle A is equal to angle B is equal to angle C. So children, here when the angles are equal, the sum of the angle is 180. So if we divide that equally into 3, then angle A equal, angle B equal, angle C must be equal to 60 degrees. So in equilateral triangle, all 3 sides are equal, 3 angles are equal, and they must be equal to 60 degrees each. Then let's get into the next sort of triangle, isosceles, where there are 2 sides equal. We can write it symbolically, PQ is equal to PR. So children, here what can we say about the angles then? As PQ is equal to PR, the opposite angles to these must be equal. That means angle Q is equal to angle R. And here we can define isosceles triangle as either 2 sides equal or 2 angles equal. Because we know that when the angles are equal, sides are going to be anyhow equal. Let's get into third triangle. I am taking it as X, Y, Z are the vertices. Here XY is not equal to YZ, is not equal to XZ. No side is equal. Therefore, angles will also be not equal. Angle X is not equal to angle Y is not equal to angle Z. So children, overall here, in response to the sides, there are 3 types of triangles. If 3 sides are equal, equilateral triangle. If 2 sides are equal, isosceles triangle. If no sides are equal, scalene triangle. Now let's go to the types of triangles with respect to angles. But before going to this, children, let us understand what are acute, obtuse, reflex angles. So suppose this is 0 degree, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and when it completely makes a round, it is 360 degrees. So children, when it is 0 degrees, we call it as 0 angle. We call it as 0 angle. When it is exactly 90 degrees, we call it as right angle. So right angle mean 90 degrees. And then when it is exactly 180 degrees, this is 90 degrees. When it is exactly 180 degrees, we call it as straight angle. Straight angle. And when it is exactly 360 degrees, that means it is making a complete round. Therefore, we call it as complete angle. So children, when the angle is between 0 and 90, when it is either 1, 2, 3, 4 to 89, whatever it is, we call this angle as acute angle. Acute. Acute means the angle between 0 and 90 degrees. And if the angle is between 90 and 180, then we call it as obtuse angle. We call it as obtuse angle. And when the angle is between 180 to 360, we call it as reflex angle. Reflex angle. Hope you have understood about it. Once again, let me write it and explain you. If it is 0, we call it as 0 angle. And if it is 90 degrees, we call it as a right angle. And if it is 180 degrees, we call it as straight angle. And when it is 360, because it is making complete round, so we call it as complete angle. And if it is between 0 and 90, we call it as acute angle. And 90 and 180 between this, we call obtuse angle. And if it is between 180 and 360, we call it as reflex angle. So now children, after understanding this, let us get into types of triangles with respect to angles. So now let me take one triangle here, where example I'll take this as 65, this is 50, and this is 65. So children, here with respect to sides, let us leave it. Now with respect to angles, all these angles 65, 50, 65, all these angles are acute. We call them acute because they are between 0 and 90. Therefore, we call this triangle as acute angled triangle. So children, in acute angle triangle, all the three angles are acute. So let me take another triangle PQR. So in this children, this angle Q is 90 degrees. 90 degrees angle is known as right angle. So we call this triangle as right angle triangle. So if in a triangle, one angle is right angle, then we call it as a right angled triangle. So children, can there be any two right angles in one triangle? No, there is no possibility. Why there is no possibility? Because if this is 90 and this is 90, 180 is finished here itself. Then what will be the third angle? Can't be 0. So there will be only one right angle in a triangle. Children, now let us get into the third type of triangle. X, Y, Z. So children, this particular angle Y is more than 90 degrees, mean it is between 90 and 180 degrees. Then this angle is called obtuse angle. Therefore, this complete triangle is called as obtuse angled triangle. So again, here also, can there be two obtuse angle in a triangle? No, because if suppose this is 100, can the other angle be 100? No, 200. Some can't be more than 180. So children, once again let us recapitulate it. If there are three angles acute, then it is called acute angle triangle. If one angle is right, then it is called right angle triangle. If one angle is obtuse, then we call it as obtuse angled triangle. So children, let us go for the next point, secondary parts of the triangle. Most of the children will be confused here understanding altitude, median, angle bisector, perpendicular bisector of the triangle. These parts are called secondary parts of the triangle. Then what are primary parts? Like sides, angles, vertices are called primary parts. So children, let us first understand what is altitude. Let me take a triangle P, Q, R. So a perpendicular line drawn from a vertex to the opposite side is called altitude. So if I take this vertex P, if I draw a line perpendicular to the opposite side, let me take this as PM. A line drawn from this vertex perpendicular to opposite side is known as altitude. We also call it as height. So children, here you can even draw one another altitude from Q to this PR. Let me take this as N. So what is this? Altitude drawn from Q to the opposite side. You can draw one another altitude from R also. This is going to be altitude, and let me take it as O. So children, here PM is one altitude, R is one another altitude, QN is altitude. So for each side there will be three altitudes. So all these altitudes are concurrent. What is meant by concurrent? If there are more than three lines passing through a single point, intersecting at single point, they are called concurrent. So children, here these altitudes are also concurrent. So, and this point of concurrence is then this point of concurrence is called orthocenter. What is children? Orthocenter. Children, let us go for the next secondary part of the triangle. Median. A line drawn from the vertex to the midpoint of opposite side. So what is the opposite side here? BC will be the opposite side when I consider A. So a line drawn from a vertex to the midpoint of opposite side. Let us take the midpoint of BC as D. So this line is called median. We can also define the median in another way, that a line which passes through the vertex and divides the opposite side into two equal parts. So this AD is dividing this BC into two equal parts. So children, same way we can draw two more medians, one and another, CF. So here one more thing again you are going to get, that all the three medians, children, this is called median, right? Median. All the three medians, wherever they are meeting, this is called point of concurrence. This point of concurrence is called centroid. What it is called, beta? Centroid. Let us now get into the next secondary part of the triangle. So children, when I take this Y, a line which is drawn from this vertex and dividing this angle into two parts is called angle bisector. Bisector means which divides the angle into two equal parts, mean this angle and this angle both must be equal, two parts. So this is called angle bisector. Line drawn from the vertex which divides the angle into two equal halves. So children, same way, when I draw the angle bisector of this Z, this is angle bisector. Let me take this is A, this is B, and we can draw one angle bisector of X also. Let us take this as C. So here these XC, YA and BZ are called angle bisectors. So all these angle bisectors are concurrent, and this point of concurrence of angle bisectors is called incenter. Incenter. So let's go for the next secondary part, children. Perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector, I mean it should be perpendicular and it should also divide in two equal parts. So if I take the midpoint of BC, I can draw a line which is perpendicular to BC and dividing the line into two equal parts. So this line is called, let me highlight it, this line is called perpendicular bisector of BC. This is perpendicular bisector of BC. So children, in the same way, you can draw one perpendicular bisector of this also, and one perpendicular bisector of this side also. So again, all the three perpendicular bisectors are concurrent, and this point of concurrence of all perpendicular bisectors is called circumcenter. So children, altitude, the line drawn from the vertex perpendicular to the opposite side is called altitude, and the point of concurrence of these altitudes is nothing but orthocenter. And median, a line drawn from the vertex to the midpoint of opposite side. The point of concurrence of this medians is called centroid. And angle bisector, a line drawn from the vertex which divides the angle into two equal parts is called angle bisector, and the point of concurrence of all these angle bisectors is called incenter. And then perpendicular bisector, a line drawn perpendicular to the side which divides it into equal halves is called perpendicular bisector, and the point of concurrence of these perpendicular bisectors is known as circumcenter. I hope you got the clarity in this content better. Children, one of the most important concept, congruency of triangles. Let me take a triangle here. I am taking A, B, C. Now I am taking this triangle and making another copy of it. So side by side I kept the triangles and I am naming this as D, E, F. What do you say about the size of these two triangles? Both are same in size, same in shape also. So the triangles which are which are equal in size and same in the shape, then they both are called congruent triangles. So here we can write it as triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Triangle DEF. So children, this symbol is called symbol of congruency. So here, when we say that both the triangles are congruent, then the corresponding sides must be always equal. Corresponding sides mean AB is equal to DE, and then this BC is equal to EF, and then one more, this AC must be equal to DF. Corresponding sides must be equal. Not only corresponding sides, even the angles. Angle A must be equal to D, angle B must be equal to angle E, and angle C must be equal to angle F. So children, when there are two congruent triangles, their corresponding parts mean either they may be sides or they may be angles, must be equal. This property is, in short, it is called as CPCT. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are always equal. Let us go for next topic, understanding similarity, similar triangles. So children, here again I will take a triangle. Let me take A, B, C. Now I will copy this triangle again. Pasting it and bringing it here. So children, both the triangles now are equal in size. I didn't touch it. But suppose if I enlarge this triangle to this way, what happens? When I'm enlarging, the size is changed. Size of the triangle is changed, but the shape did not change. So now when I rename this triangle as DEF, both the triangles are same in shape but not in size. So these kind of triangles which are same in shape but not in size are called similar triangles, and we denote similar triangles as ABC. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. This symbol is the symbol of similarity. So here there must be two conditions checked for similarity of triangles. First, their corresponding sides are proportional. Second point, their corresponding angles are equal. So children, let me cut this triangle and check. This is ABC. So you check this. Angle A is equal to angle D, and angle B is equal to angle E, and same way angle C is equal to what beta? Angle F. That means when we take two triangles which are similar, their angles must be equal. That is, angle A is equal to angle D, and angle B is equal to angle E, and angle C is equal to angle F. And we need to follow the same order while mentioning the triangle. A, B, C is similar to D, E, F. So children, here D, E, F you should write now. You should write it as D, E, F. Suppose I write E, D, F. Though you are representing the triangle in a right way, but similarity can't be, because A must be similar to A is equal to D. The corresponding angle of A is what? D, and the corresponding angle of B is E, and corresponding angle of C is F. So similarity must be mentioned in the right appropriate order. So let us see about the second point. Sides are proportional. When I took this triangle ABC and dragged it, enlarged it, at that time what happened? AB is also enlarged, mean AB is increased. And BC, of course, this BC second side also was enlarged and named as EF. And third side, that is AC, is also enlarged, mean increased, and named as DF. So how much AB is enlarged? Same way BC and AC are also increased. So if the increasing rate or decreasing rate is same, we call them proportional. So children, here AB and BC and AC. These three sides, AB, BC and this AC, these three sides are proportional to the corresponding sides of other triangle. What is the corresponding sides? What are the corresponding sides of other triangle? DE, EF is equal to AC by DF. So children, two triangles are said to be similar when they are same in shape. And there are two conditions for that. That the corresponding angles of both the triangles must be equal and corresponding sides must be proportional. So children, now let's get into the criteria of congruency. So when I take two triangles ABC and another triangle again DEF, they both are congruent, no doubt. When they are congruent, when the corresponding sides are equal, that means AB is equal to DE, BC is equal to EF and AC is equal to DF. Mean three sides are equal. Side is equal to side and then side is equal to side and then side is equal to side. When three sides of one triangle are equal to the corresponding three sides of another triangle, then they both are called congruent. Both are called here congruent. So how can you represent this congruency? Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So triple S similarity is nothing but side, side, side. Three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides, corresponding sides of other triangle. So next congruency criterion is SAS. So let me take two triangles, one and the second. So these two triangles, let me name it as ABC, DEF. So children, if suppose you come to know that this AB is equal to DE and then this AC is equal to DEF, that means two sides are equal. Side is equal to side, side is equal to side. But about third side you don't know. But you know that the including angle of these two sides, the angle made by these two sides are equal. That is, angle is equal to angle. So I hope you have understood. SAS mean side, angle, side of one triangle are equal to the corresponding side, angle, side of another triangle. Then they both are said to be congruent. ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Next, we'll go for ASA. So children, I am taking two triangles again here. 1, 2. In these two triangles, ABC, DEF. Now you know that only one side is equal. Example, AB is equal to DE, you knew. You knew that AB is equal to DE. One side is equal. About other two sides, you don't have any information. But you knew that the angles which are at end of these two sides, this angle A is equal to angle D and angle B is equal to angle E. That means angle, side, angle is equal to angle, side, angle. Then also both the triangles are called congruent. That means you can write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Angle, side, angle. Side must be the including side of the angles. Children, let's get into the next criterion of congruency. If I take two triangles, I took two triangles, children, here. Name it as A, B, C, D, E, F. In these two triangles, when we observe this B B is nothing but a right angle triangle, right angle, and E is right angle. So children, right angle is equal to right angle. And then this AC is hypotenuse and DF is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse means longest side of the triangle. So AC hypotenuse is equal to hypotenuse. Then say, one of the side, maybe AB or BC, whatever it is, BC is equal to EF. Then side is equal to side. So right angle, hypotenuse, any side among two. If right angle, hypotenuse side of one triangle are equal to the corresponding right angle, hypotenuse and side, then they both are called congruent triangles. So here you can write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So these four are the congruency criterion. Let's go for similarity criterion. Children, the first similarity criterion, triple S. We had a triple S congruency criterion also. There corresponding sides were equal. Here corresponding sides are going to be proportional. What is meant by proportional? That they are in the same ratio. This AB by DE is equal to this BC. BC by EF is equal to the third side, AC by DF. Here corresponding sides are proportional, are in the same ratio. It can be again represented as triangle ABC similar to triangle DEF. This sign is called symbol of similarity. Let's go for the next criterion of similarity, side angle side. Again children, here also we had SAS congruency, but their sides were equal. Here sides will be proportional. Which are the sides proportional here? Example, AB, DE, and then AC, DF, and then included angle, that is AC and DE. So here two sides are proportional. What are they? AB by DE is equal to yellow one, AC by DF. Two sides are proportional and there included angle A and angle D. Angles are equal. So it is side, angle, side, side, angle, side. So we say it as side, angle, side similarity. So we can represent these two triangles as triangle ABC similar to triangle DEF. So the children, a main reason between the congruency and similarities, in congruency sides are equal, in similarity sides are proportional. In congruency and similarity both angles will be equal. You need to remember that. Let's get into the next criteria of similarity, that is AAA similarity. We didn't have AAA congruency, but here we are having AAA similarity. What is this AAA similarity? If the three angles of one triangle, that is ABC, are equal to the three angles of another triangle, A is equal to D, and then this B is equal to E, as well C is equal to F. Then angle, similarity. When three angles of one triangle are equal to three corresponding angles of another triangle, then they both are similar. So you can mention it as triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Here angle A is equal to angle D, angle B is equal to angle E, and angle C is equal to angle F. Children, here one more important point, that if suppose there are two angles equal, angle A is equal to angle D, angle B is equal to angle E. We don't know about the third angle. Then in that case, can they be similar? Yes, they can be similar. Why they can be similar? Because the sum of the angles in a triangle must be equal to 180. When two angles are equal, then third angle must also be equal. So sometimes when the need arises, we can use it as AA similarity also, not AAA, AA also we can use it. Children, hope you have understood the concept very clearly. If at all you're getting any doubt or if there are any queries, you can text in the comment box. Don't forget to share this video, like the video, and also subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed. In the next class, we'll be coming with theorems like basic proportionality theorem, AAA similarity, and SSS similarity and others. Thank you. Thanks a lot for listening the class till the end.